Welcome back to the Minecraft podcast. In today's episode, we're going to focus on some of the parts of Minecraft that players interact with all the time but may not think about deeply enough. The game is full of systems that seem simple at first, but the more you spend time with them, the more you realize they shape almost everything you do. That is one of the reasons Minecraft has lasted so long. It keeps turning ordinary actions into meaningful choices. A lot of people describe Minecraft as a sandbox. That word does not fully explain why it works so well. A sandbox suggests freedom, and Minecraft definitely has that, but it also has structure. It gives you tools, rules, biomes, mobs, and progression systems that make the world feel consistent. You are free to do almost anything, but the world still behaves in a way that makes sense. That balance between open-ended play and hidden order is part of what keeps people coming back. One of the clearest examples of this is resource gathering. Early in the game, every item matters. Wood matters, stone matters, food matters. And even a few pieces of dirt can become useful if you are trying to survive in a strange area. But as you progress, your relationship with resources changes. You start thinking about efficiency instead of survival alone. You want faster mining, smarter travel, better storage, and more reliable systems. Minecraft quietly teaches you to move from short-term thinking to long-term planning. That shift is one of the reasons players feel so connected to their worlds. The first shelter you build is not impressive, but it means something. The first mine you dig may be messy, but it teaches you how underground travel works. The first village you find might just be a place to grab food, but later it can become the center of your entire progress. Minecraft gives you a sense of growth that is easy to understand and satisfying to watch unfold. A big part of that growth comes from how the game handles tools. Tools are not just items you use once and replace. They define how you interact with the world. A pickaxe changes mining. An axe changes wood gathering. A shovel changes terrain work. A hoe, which many players underestimate at first, becomes a useful tool in its own right depending on the block you are dealing with. Tools are one of the clearest ways Minecraft teaches specialization. You are not just collecting objects. You are learning how different tasks fit together. Durability adds another layer to that system. In many games, equipment is either there or gone. In Minecraft, tools slowly wear out, which forces you to think ahead. That creates tension early on, but later it encourages planning. Do you repair a favorite item, replace it, enchant it, or save it for something important? Even a simple piece of gear can become part of a larger strategy. That makes every item feel more alive than it would in a game without durability. Armor works the same way. At first, armor is just protection. Later, it becomes part of your identity in the world. You are not just a player. You are someone prepared for caves, raids, the Nether, or the end. The choice of armor changes how risky you can be, how much damage you can survive, and how confidently you can explore. Minecraft uses armor not only as defense but as a way to mark progression. When you are better equipped, the game opens up in new ways. Food is another mechanic that seems simple but ends up shaping the entire experience. Hunger affects movement, healing, and long-term survival. Once food becomes a real concern, you start thinking differently about farms, villages, animal breeding, and sustainable supply. That is part of why early survival feels so different from late-game survival. In the beginning, food is a challenge. Later, it becomes an organized system. Minecraft lets the player move from scrambling to survive into building something stable and repeatable. That progression is one of the game's most satisfying patterns. You start in a world that does not owe you anything. Then, slowly, you create order. You carve out a shelter. You collect materials. You build storage. You organize farms. You improve tools. You travel farther. You learn which resources are worth keeping and which are better used immediately. By the time your world has developed, it feels personal in a way that very few games can match. One of the reasons that happens is because Minecraft never tells your story for you. It gives you moments, not a script. Finding a village in the rain, getting lost underground, surviving a night with almost no health, building a tiny house, and then turning it into a base later, all become part of your memory. The game does not decide which of those moments matter. You do. That is what makes every world feel unique. Minecraft also stands out because of how it handles danger. The game is not constantly trying to overwhelm you, but it does keep you aware that mistakes matter. Falling, burning, drowning, getting lost, running out of food, or being caught unprepared can all turn a normal situation into a serious problem. That means the game always has a little tension underneath its calm surface. Even when you are relaxing, you still know there is a world of consequences waiting if you stop paying attention. That tension becomes even more interesting. When you enter places like caves, the Nether, or strongholds, these areas remind players that Minecraft is not only about building and comfort, it is also about challenge and risk. The world can shift from peaceful to dangerous very quickly, and that contrast keeps the game exciting. A quiet surface biome might lead to a deadly cave system. A normal-looking portal can open into a hostile dimension. A routine trip can turn into a fight for survival. Minecraft uses that uncertainty very well. The Nether in particular is one of the clearest examples of how the game changes the rules without breaking its own logic. It feels like the same game, but harsher. Travel becomes more dangerous, movement becomes more strategic, and resources become more valuable. The Nether is memorable because it strips away comfort and forces you to pay attention. That makes every success feel earned. The end works differently, but just as effectively. It is not about atmosphere in the same way the overworld is, and it is not about constant danger in the same way the Nether is. Instead, it feels like a final destination. The space is sparse, quiet, and strange. That emptiness gives the end its own identity. When players reach it, they know they are somewhere important. Minecraft does a good job of making each dimension feel distinct without losing the overall identity of the game. Another reason the game stays so strong is that it leaves room for imagination. Even a small build can feel meaningful if the player connects it to their own ideas. A house is not just a house. It is a home base, a storage room, a starting point, a memory, or the first step in a larger project. A tower is not just a tower. It can be a lookout, a landmark, a design challenge, or a symbol of progress. Minecraft gives the player enough structure to build on, and enough emptiness to fill with personal meaning. That is why the game keeps inspiring content across so many forms. Some people make builds. Some make tutorials. Some make survival series. Some make challenge runs. Some make roleplay worlds. Some focus on technical systems. Some just share funny moments with friends. The game is broad enough to support all of those approaches without forcing them into one style. That kind of flexibility is rare, and it is one of Minecraft's biggest strengths. It is also why the game feels timeless. The visuals may be simple, but the systems underneath are deep enough to keep generating new ideas. Players continue to discover better methods, smarter builds, and more efficient systems because the game encourages experimentation. Even if you have played for years, there is still room to improve. That makes Minecraft feel like a living world instead of a finished product. So, for episode 4, the main idea is this: Minecraft stays interesting because every system feeds into another one. Tools lead to survival. Survival leads to progress. Progress leads to automation. Automation leads to bigger projects. Bigger projects lead to new goals. The game keeps building on itself in a way that feels natural and rewarding. It is simple enough to start, but deep enough to hold attention for years, and that is what makes Minecraft so special. It is not just a game about blocks. It is a game about learning, adapting, and turning small beginnings into something much bigger. Every player's world becomes a record of choices, mistakes, discoveries, and creativity. That is why the game never really loses its magic. It keeps giving players another reason to return, one more thing to build, and one more idea to try.